Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having a great day. Let's take another look here at SUI, see what's going on. We saw a pretty significant correction yesterday, but also not too bad, all things considered. About a 10% correction there from this coin when Bitcoin actually pulled back. Only half that, about 4.6% versus a 10% correction from SUI. So the corrective behavior for this coin is significant, just like most altcoins, but its recovery rate is even better. So good news is this coin, compared to other coins, will respond faster and quicker to the upside, but it's just as susceptible to the downside for selling off. So please understand this coin is not perfect, but it's definitely a much better coin to trade to the upside in the current market. Now, do I recommend a long at this point? We're going to double check and make sure. At this time yesterday, it seemed quite sensible, but obviously we saw that Bybit hack occur. The price action pulled back pretty significant for Bitcoin. But again, we didn't really do too bad here. The price action didn't pull back, in my opinion, very hard, all things considered. Yes, a 10% correction is a lot, but it's also very little compared to, again, the rest of the market. So those are just things we're going to kind of look at here. I hope this makes sense to you and you learned something today. Obviously, make sure you hit the like button before we get started, folks. It really helps grow the channel. Appreciate you doing that. Just make sure you do that every single time you watch a video. Appreciate that. Future reference too, I'm always going to look at the charts abstractly. I'm not going to try to attach myself to a certain bias. So if I say something disheartening to you and your favorite coin, sincerest apologies, but I'm really just kind of letting you know the facts and the way things are looking on the charts, and that helps me take an unbiased approach to a trade that I take if I'm considering one. Okay. Now I did send out a signals update here yesterday, basically a trade alert, just kind of letting people know that the 315 to 335 range is a good solid consideration for entry. So congrats to those folks who took that trade. Keep in mind, you do want to secure profits before resistance, and we're going to look at the charts and talk about that. We can kind of see it quick and easy here on the liquidation node, right? 355 is a close approximate, upwards of about $4. We've got this range of liquidation above us. Keep in mind, the range of liquidation below is just as great, but we're closer to the upside, so sometimes it's best to presume that level is going to be hit sooner than we could see the price pull back. Keep in mind, Bitcoin it's forming a CME gap right now. There's a CME gap at 95,000. So if you're not familiar with that, CME futures closed yesterday in the afternoon, effectively for the weekend at 95,000, with the price being above that. There's a decent chance we're going to see the price capitulate and pull back to that level. Okay, that doesn't necessarily have to happen now or later, but in 9 times out of 10, or like it's an extremely high statistical probability, that CME gap will get filled eventually. Okay, so that's just kind of something to be mindful of. Oftentimes they're filled sooner than later, so I wouldn't be surprised if we either see the price pull back, we dump tonight or tomorrow, just based on the statistical history of Bitcoin. And to touch on that too, just so you know, I put this on the charts here and I post this as well on my social medias, is that we've notoriously seen 6 out of 6 red weekends to start the year. Okay, so why is this weekend going to be any different, especially with the CME gap forming at 95,000? I don't really think it's going to be that much different. I foresee later tonight, sometime tomorrow, a typical corrective pattern here from Bitcoin when either Asian markets open or traditional markets open, sometime on Monday. But between now and then, it's pretty safe to presume the price should pull back for Bitcoin, but it's also just slowly recovering as a typical fake out, which we've seen every weekend. Almost every weekend, we've seen a nice strong start to Saturday and a really terrible close Saturday night or Sunday morning. It's just never good. Anyways, I want to kind of throw that out there so you understand that could very well pull the price action down for this coin. So if you're in profit right now, why don't you just consider adjusting your stop loss a little higher so you're not getting super greedy. People seem to think that you can take every trade to the moon, and that's just not a reality right now in the market. It's just a simple way to understand it. Either way, we take a look here, we can see we've drawing dead on liquidation delta, basically implying that all these longs had got pretty much destroyed yesterday. And then of course the late shorts also the same thing as well. So it's a tough market to be in right now. And the truth is trading altcoins specifically on a weekend is just not recommended. So again, when you're watching this here, make sure you understand kind of future reference, what to look for. That's the whole point of these videos, is make sure you can educate yourself and do this on your own. Obviously, we have a lot of traders in my community, and just to give you some kudos here for our community members, we took some nice profits on our Bitcoin short, and prior to that, we took profits on a Bitcoin long. Okay, so again, we're taking longs at 95,000, and we're shorting 98 to 99,000 for Bitcoin. Pretty simple. It's been the same range for 18 days now. Until that breaks, we got to presume it's going to continue. And you can see the same thing here as well too. This is no different. Take a look at this. 370 as low as about 293 are the outliers for the top and bottom range. What do you know? We've been working right exactly in that range, just as Bitcoin has as well. Okay, so it's a very unfortunate situation. It's difficult because everyone's trades keep getting hit pretty hard, and it's hard to kind of find longer trades to hold. So you just got to secure profits as fast as possible. Quickly to note with this open interest rather, we can see we're above a lot of support though. There's more open positions below than above the price action. While we have a pretty significant late longs at 350 and they're underwater, majority of the other longs at 325, 330, and 335 are in profit. It reinforces support below us, so the price does pull back. Decent consideration for another long. But between now and then, again, shorting this coin isn't always the most advantageous call. So let's take a look here at the daily time frame, work our way down. We can recognize we're over both moving averages, even still. Yesterday we closed bearishly. Today, so far, we have a semi-bullish engulfing candle. So if we close above 345 today, distinct chance we're going to see that 360 level. Pending Bitcoin doesn't dump, though, folks. Unfortunately, that has to be the premise or the thing you have to put in the forefront of your mind every time you trade right now. It's just, is Bitcoin going to dump? I don't know. If it does, I'm screwed. So again, that's kind of how it works with longs on altcoins. I'm recommending my community here, if you're considering a long, adjust your stop loss and profit. Make sure you do not get super greedy and take profits when you can. It's just not, weekends are not good. Obviously, we're seeing a little bit of a relief rally, but that's all this is. This is nothing that's like, oh, this is breaking news with prices breaking out. There's nothing like that. We're under 50 on the RSI, generally bearish, still haven't broken bullish yet. Same thing as well with stochastic, swinging up for the second time. That does carry more weight than the first, mainly because we've broken through a key level resistance, which locally here is that 335 level. So we talked about that yesterday. 335 is kind of that range that is important to maintain above. Yesterday we did wick down below it, but we're above it for now, and that's a good sign. Easy way to understand it is that the daily time frame is mostly positive, but there's still not like a full-on like you should go balls to the wall, take a long because the market is crap right now. It's a simple way to understand it. This is the play out from yesterday. We can see the price action did play out mostly as expected. Came down to this lower range here. I was considering an entry in the 315 to 320 range. My alerts never triggered, but that would have been obviously hindsight 2020, a good place to consider because we've seen a lot of confluence at 319 to 320. So that little area should hold as a support moving forward. And then of course, if we take a look at the 4-hour time frame, we can recognize we're above all moving averages. That's generally favorable. Obviously, we're still below the 200. That's a different story altogether. But we are above 50, maintaining that level. Stochastic swinging up, money flow index maintaining itself as well, and MACD converging. Again, these are all good signs. The only bad sign is it's a weekend, and volatility ends up being very weird because the volume is low. So once more, we're getting some false positives here, mainly because we have low volume, and I don't really trust that. And you shouldn't either. I know you're probably going to find some success on weekends, and that's great. But if you look at the statistical likelihood of finding that success or making it consistent, that's where the difficulty comes in. It's generally going to fall off a cliff because you're probably at best going to be 50-50 on weekends. And once more, 6 out of the last 6 weekends prior to this one have been all red. So they start green and they close red from Friday to Sunday. So just note that. That's happened consistently. I would be very surprised if that didn't happen again. Either way, Ichimoku cloud almost confirming that we have a green light, good to go. Lagging spans semi-clear of the price action and conversion lines of the baseline. So these are all good small time frame indicators letting us know that further upside is probable. Again, if Bitcoin wasn't in the equation at all, I think we'd probably see SUI flourish. It should continue to 360. But just know it'll probably pull back too if Bitcoin does. So what we want to do is we want to pay attention to how this coin behaves when Bitcoin misbehaves, right? And if it's moving 1-to-1 with it or 2-to-1 as it has previously to the downside, then you can presume once it finds its bottom, it'll probably 2x its way back up because that's basically where it's at right now. It's actually almost 5x on Bitcoin for the day. So again, this coin recovers very good. Another reason why I don't short this coin any longer. I've got a 50-50 success rate on shorting, and that's just not a good success rate for me. So anyways, that's kind of where we're at there. This simple way to understand it is, it's probably best to wait with the price action being where it's at, but longs are still more favorable than shorts on this coin. And then in general, Bitcoin should and very well could pull back soon, and I think that's a reality we need to be mindful of. Don't attach yourself to that premise, but I do want to say that statistically, you're going to find a lot of success buying, basically taking longs at 95,000 and shorting 98,000. As you can see, we've been in this range for 18 days. It's going to continue until it doesn't. When it stops, we'll know, and we'll take it from there. But between now and then, I hope that this makes sense. I described it correctly. Thank you again so much for just being an amazing part of my life. Make sure you check out Bitunix too, folks. Link down below for this an amazing opportunity. These guys are awesome. No KYC or VPN, but obviously this benefits mainly for our community members up until March 14th. Just a nice little deposit bonus. Lastly, too, make sure you join us over at Twitter, Telegram, and/or Discord. I've got all the relevant information and some funnies too, everywhere, a little bit here and there. Thanks again, folks. Have a good rest of the day. We'll see you the next one. Take care.